guys. Hello, how are you, my good people? How are you doing? Hope you're fine. You're doing well, actually. God has been faithful to us, He has granted us another chance to be alive. So we are much more grateful. Actually, we have a privilege to be alive today, and it's just by the grace of God that He has enabled us to be the way we are today. So we are much more grateful. Like for me, I'm much more grateful to God for what He has done for me, uh, for being there for me, for His mercies, His favor, His grace upon my life. Actually, it has taken the hand of God for me to be here where I am. So thank you so much, God, for what you've done to me. Also, today I want us to talk about family life. And in family life, I want us to talk about the mothers. It affects both sides, both parents, and the community level, and those people whom we interact with. But to most of the time today, I want to talk about mothers. And I want to talk about mothers' attitude. The mother's attitude towards their children and how it affects the growth of their children. And most of the time, you'll find that mothers spend most of the time with their kids, or maybe both parents. It depends with the setup of the family, depending on who raises the child. But now that in our traditions we believe and we know that it's mothers who takes care of the children most of the time. So let me talk about mothers. I'll put this, and I want to say that the mother's attitude towards the upbringing of their kids or their children. Most of the time, you will find that a mother's attitude significantly influences a child's emotional, social, and psychological life development. It affects both sides of the child, the attitude of a mother. How this mother brings up the child, it affects the child both sides, all round. Uh, so the mother's attitude will determine how this child will grow up. A mother's approach plays a crucial role in shaping the emotional foundation of a child. And we can say this that through words that mothers speak, through words, uh, through actions, through emotional expressions, it affects this child either positively or negatively. So it depends with how this parent is bringing up the child. And you'll find that a positive attitude creates a strong foundation for success, while negative ones can cause emotional and behavioral changes to this child. So it can affect the child either positively or negatively. What are these negative things that can affect a child? You'll find that anger, depression, abandonment, trauma, pain, it will definitely affect the child. If it's affecting the mother, it will definitely affect the child. Um, to most of the time, you'll find that an anchored mother will raise an anchored child. A mother who is always angry, okay, with a lot of anger and so on, you'll find that through that, through her actions, through the words, through emotional expression, the child will also develop anger. A bitter woman will just raise a bitter child no matter what. Eh. A totally depressed parent, a stressed woman or mother will raise a child who is not okay. Okay, because the actions of this parent will affect the child. Sometimes maybe we don't speak out, but the actions speaks more. The child sees how you react, how you do your things, your actions, Yeah. So obviously an angry woman, a bitter woman, a frustrated woman, mother, a depressed mother will affect the child in a negative way. But you find that a patient woman, just very calm, very encouraged, very uh, competent, and no, let me not use the term competent, but a mother who is just calm, she's okay, she's very happy, joyful, you know, she will raise her child in a joyous way. The child will also be joyful, she will be always happy, she will always be calm, she will always be encouraged, just because of the characters of the mother. And I want to say that, so the actions that we do, it really affects our kids. So just know that whatever that you are doing and the child is seeing, hearing, and feeling, it definitely affects the child. And children adapt to these things very fast. So it affects them very fast, and they grow with it up to when they become big people. Let me give an example of a Germany Shepherd dog. Once upon a time, there was a Shepherd Germany dog, which when it was just doing some its things, uh, it got an accident, and after getting an accident, it got injured the legs. So the Germany Shepherd dog, it became crippled, so it didn't walk straight like other dogs. So the German Shepherd dog uh, got pregnant, and when it got pregnant, it gave birth to the puppies. Or how do we call them? The puppies. So when it gave birth to the puppies grew up seeing their mother limping. So the Germany Shepherd dog, it started limping after the accident. After being, I used the term crippled. Oh my god! So after it got the accident, it started limping because the legs were not okay. So when the puppies also were born, they used to see their mother limping. What happened to the puppies? They also started limping. Why? Because they thought that now this is the style of walking. Instead of walking straight, they should just limp. They followed the footsteps, or they followed how their mother was doing. So they also started limping, all of them. So the question was, what happened? Only later to realize that, oh, they were just limping because their mother was also limping. So they emulated what the mother was doing. So what I want to say is, of the purpose of that example is to bring out that what parents do, what guardians do, what the elderly does, that is what the younger or the smaller or the kids, the children does, the babies, they just follow what you do. If you're used to being a bitter mother, always shouting, always doing what, I'm sure your kid will also be like that, because she will grow up knowing that People should shout. People should be angry, Yeah, so that is it. You just like unazoesha mtoto, when you wake up you have to wash your face, to clean your face. That is how your baby will grow up. Even if at his or her adulthood she will be doing that, because she learned it from when she was or he was a small kid, and he or she used to see you people doing that, so he or she grows up doing those things that she used to do. So what I wanted to put across is, let's watch out what we do. And sometimes it's not the wish of these mothers to act badly or negatively or to have the negative attitudes and whatever. No, it's maybe what they are going through. You find like, maybe somebody has been traumatized, somebody is depressed, maybe somebody is abandoned, neglected, maybe she is lacking support, she's going through a lot, so she doesn't find peace. And if she doesn't find peace, then what next? She'll be stressed, she'll be bitter, you know when you don't have peace, when you are frustrated, when you are depressed, obviously you will become bitter, and that bitterness is being transferred to your kids. So sometimes it's not their wish. Okay, there are people who are raised like that, but also there are those people whom life makes them do things that they never intended to do, things that are very bad. They act differently, weird, it's not their wish. Some things that just happens on the way, and then it makes them bitter, frustrated, depressed, and then they start acting weird. So kids also grow up like that. They grow up in a bitter life, though that is not what we wish. So our prayer is, if there is any support, because if somebody lacks support, who is supposed to support this person? What happened so that this person lacked support? Hmm? What brought about this anchor? What brought about this person to be stressed and depressed and whatever? What happened? you know there must be the cause of all these things. And who is causing this pain to this mother? Who is causing this stress to this mother? Sometimes maybe from the families and whatever. So what you can say is, we should always try to maintain peace. We should always try to keep calm, and we should always try to support where we can, where necessary, right? And to mothers also, no matter how bitter you are, no matter how frustrated you are, sometimes stress, sometimes you just feel like bursting and crying and releasing everything. But for the sake of that child, or for the sake of that kid, please behave, because your attitude, how you behave, your actions, your words, your everything determines the future of this child. I think that's all that I can say for today. Let's try. So I think it's very good that both of the parents raise the child together, so that at least we avoid some other things. Yeah. I think you people, these things. I don't want to shout and shout. There are just some things that when you are two together you can avoid. So what me I can say is, if it's possible, just raise the child together. You can try um to minimize some issues. But if there will be quarrels, disagreements, and whatever, then that's not good for our kids. let's try to behave. To mothers, just try to behave. Just try to check on your character. Try to check on your actions, on what you do, your words that you speak, right? And it will be good for our kids. Thank you so much for listening. Actually, that is what I had for today. I just felt like speaking this, like nionge initoke. Na nimeongea ikanitoka. So thank you so much. Continue liking and subscribing to my channel. Also like, share and comment. Thank you so much. Goodbye.